Hello, James here. Just just, I should do a video of cystic fibrosis awareness, and it's Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month as of May. Yes. Well, you see, there's like option to donate right here. Inherited life-threatening disorder that damages the lungs and digestive system. Cystic fibrosis affects the cells that produce mucus, sweat, and digestive juices, and causes these fluids to become thick and sticky. They then plug up tubes, ducts, and passageways. Symptoms vary and can include cough, repeated lung infections, inability to gain weight, and face tools. Treatments may ease symptoms, reduce complications. Newborn screening helps with early diagnosis. So it is rare, fewer than 200,000 cases per year. Yeah. I first played this the preschool. I considered the possibility that some of the kids may have been CF patients, and although after a few months I realized they weren't, because none of the kids needed to end up going to the hospital or anything, so that was good. Yeah. I brought it up to the school nurse one point and said that I was right, that the preschool where I work does not have cystic fibrosis patients, although they have had them in the past. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, if you wanna ever help with cystic fibrosis, there are all these things where you could donate. CFF.org. And if you don't have a credit card, you would send a donation through check and mail to them. You can always pretty near me. Yep. Yeah, so this is just an example. Yeah, like there's probably other ones besides this one. One in another metropolitan area, depending on where you live. Anyway, there you go. As you know, I've made some cystic fibrosis awareness videos in the past. Yeah, just went to must have gone to hit watch later by mistake. Alright, my videos. Here we go. Just bear with me here. Let's see. Yeah. People with cystic fibrosis have had to social distance from each other, or when they were before the pandemic even started. And it's one of the things I'm going to my older videos to review. When Frank was talking about cystic fibrosis. As you can see, I've also done ones in other languages. just like with most of the world in general, most of the nations where cystic fibrosis is studied speak English. Here we go. Let's see. Ah,
Ever wish you could pick up a guitar and play your favorite songs? Welcome to Fender Play, the online learning platform that gets you playing.
We're going to put it on, how are we going to start this?
Looks like it's
Children born with cystic fibrosis are often diagnosed, it's primarily was once considered a children's disease. Over the last two decades, I'd say, the life expectancy for those with cystic fibrosis has dramatically increased. Via medication, treatment options, and the increased amount of lung transplants that have become more commonplace. But coughing up blood was definitely a large part of my life for quite a while before I got my transplant.
okay. So, yes, my friend who had cystic fibrosis was named Carrie, and
this part's relevant. So
I understand there are places that you can donate to help people who research cystic fibrosis to find a cure.
Yes, there are several ones out there. Offhand, I really don't know the websites or names of them, but there's, I'm sure if you Google it, there'll be plenty of them, but cf.org is the main website for cystic fibrosis research. Whether you can donate to that site or there'll be links on cf.org that will surely help you get to that. There's also other places that help patients with cystic fibrosis. I know me personally, there's Children's Organ Transplant Association, which helps not just cystic fibrosis, but anybody who has organ transplantation needs and they need to get funding for that. There's also a lot of other research places out there. I'm drawing blanks on them right now. I apologize. But yeah, anytime you see a CF thing, drop $1 in, because research has come a long way because of the donations that great people have donated.
Oh yes, absolutely. And if you have any friends who have cystic fibrosis or know somebody with it, like, all the more reason for you to share this video. It's a very serious thing, and send to anybody who watching this who has cystic fibrosis and has gotten a lung transplant. I have taken good care of those lungs, because, like, let's face it, if you're not, that's not really respectful of the person doing it to you.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say to anybody watching who has CF, is family of who has CF or friends of anybody who has cystic fibrosis, encourage them to get a transplant. I have been blessed with one, and it has been a literal life changer. If it wasn't for me getting my transplant, I never would have met James here. I would never have met his sister, my friend Jessica, a whole bunch of new friends I've made. Plus, I've extended the friendships I've made before then wonderfully, and it gives me an opportunity to get a job. It's gotten me further. I can go to school. I can do so much more with my life than what I could before I had my transplant. Please encourage everybody who has cystic fibrosis to stay healthy, do your medications, do your treatments, and when you get your transplant, take your medications every single day as the doctors tell you, because there is nothing worse than watching somebody who has a transplant fail at it, and because of negligence. I've had several friends who have gotten the transplant and thought, I got my free ticket, and stopped doing all the things that you need to do. And it's heartbreaking. And even though I've got my transplant, it's still a fight, because I have to take these medications. I still have to watch for germs. I still have to, you're trading one problem for another, but it's a much easier and better manageable after transplant.
Thank you, Frank. Actually at Carrie's memorial service. I hadn't seen Chris in almost 3 years at that point, but...
Okay, yeah, this... Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah, I think this description is pretty big, too. Like, easy way to remember the name. So it sounds like Cystic Fibrosis. I'm Frank. Alright, yeah. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, like it says in the description, this was in a Tim Hortons. They, it's pretty big in Buffalo, but they technically started in Canada. So, yeah.
Hello, James here. Once again here with Frank.
Yeah. So anyway, had to play more on Cystic Fibrosis here. Okay.
Children's Organ Transplant Association is a charity that they provide money to help families of children who have debilitating disease reach their doctor's appointments and come back. They help me because, despite me being an adult,
That's my race.
cystic fibrosis is a children's disease. So I applied for their help, and we did a big giant fundraiser where we got a whole bunch of money we donated to Dakota, and that becomes like a nest egg that they'll hold on to that we can tap into anytime we want. So any travel expenses down, like I go to New York City, so the gas that gets covered from New York City, driving here to there, and then back, plus the lodging expenses and food that you eat along the way. You keep the receipts. When you get back, you fill out a form, you send it in, and they reimburse you all that money. So it doesn't cost you anything to go to your appointments if they're far away. It'll help anybody who has, juvenile diabetes or heart issues, other lung diseases, kidneys. It's not just a cystic fibrosis thing, but anybody who has CF can definitely use CODA to help pay for their transportation to their appointments and back. They also may have a program which helps you supplement helping you buy the prescriptions. If you're like your copays are still really high, they can help you pay those as well.
Okay, good. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. All right. So, so there's Wings Flight of Hope. What could you tell me about that one?
Wings Flight of Hope, they are a charity here in the Buffalo area. Again, they're a service which helps with transportation to farther away places. I used them when I had to get my transplant. So I had it pre-set up that whenever I got the call to get my transplant, I would go to them and they would fly me to New York City and get me to the hospital so that I could get my transplant. But they will also do appointments. So you fill out their paperwork and get them all set and squared away. So they were like, what you do is there's a series of forms. One is for your doctor. Your doctor will fill out verifying yes, he has an appointment on such and such a date. Then you fill one out saying, here, this is where I need to go. This is the date. This is how many oxygen tanks. But for me, it's oxygen tanks. If you need to bring all this information, then they fly you to wherever you need to go. There's New York City, Boston, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, anywhere in this area, they'll fly you. And it's not just for CF, it's for anybody who has diseases and inability to go far places.
Okay.
So,
Now, a bit.
remember how you said in the cystic fibrosis video how we had made a while back that even though you got that lung transplant, that it's still a fight for you.
Yeah, yep. And like I say, if you watch that one and then you watch this one, you're going to notice a very big difference. I'm having this up in the corner of me now. Since between the two videos, I've had a bit of a run-in with poor health, and now I had to fight some rejection and pneumonia, and it's kind of limited what I can do now. I used to be able to run around and play games, and I was working. You couldn't tell I had transplant, and now I'm kind of stuck on heavy oxygen. Walking around is a bit more difficult for me, but that's life with CF. You know, even if you had your transplant, it's not a ticket to, carte blanche, do what you want. You gotta take care of yourself, and I got a little back for that, I think. Didn't pay attention to things that could have got me sick, and I got sick.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of sad, but yeah. Well, hopefully you get better and yeah. So, yeah, here's a photo of Carrie during my last year of high school, and well, it was her junior year. Anyway, yeah, it's her in the middle, yeah, like close up, you can probably tell like that she had a bit of a face that she had to wear red and have those crossbones. That was just a face the last 2 years of high school, though. And, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm glad I got to show a picture of Carrie, and of course I also have the archived video of her singing with Jennifer. And that one was pretty neat to find. Let's see. Yeah, like I've said, probably say more about how Carrie, like in the event I get to do a video with some other people who knew her, such as Chris. And let's see. Oh, yeah. I just remembered another thing we didn't mention about CF in that video was that the people who have CF should make sure they're safe distance from other people. That yeah, you said something about like your rule of thumb for distance with CF, Frank.
Yeah, it became known that people with CF can transmit whatever bacteria they would have in their lungs to each other if they hung out too much. Which, when you put us all in the hospital and we're sick together, is going to happen. So we had this rule of thumb that, if I can stick my arm out and you can stick your arm out and touch each other, you're too close. So we'd have to maintain a distance where none of us could even touch each other. And that's the rule of thumb that even now it is still a little outdated, but you can't always prevent people from talking and seeing each other. But as a rule of thumb, if I know somebody has CF or has a lung issue, I follow that rule of maintaining 2 full arms lengths away.
Good. Neat. Yeah. There's been a lot of Carrie that had, well, in some cases I can remember, that one time was also Dreamcatcher. That's the only thing I can remember I'd actually gotten from her. I have gotten plenty of birthday cards and stuff from her, and when my graduation came around, and she gave me a card with a check in it. I wasn't sure if I was ready to mention this before, but yeah, Carrie actually got me hooked up for homecoming, and that's yeah.
Your phone wasn't getting the picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah. serious relationship I ever had. And yeah, so yeah, it shows that Carrie's pretty good with matching people up, although that girl did take advantage of the fact that I had never had a serious relationship prior to that. Although, I don't blame that on Carrie at all, though. So, yeah. But, yeah. And just thought I'd show her. And,
Probably the last other thing that was relevant to this. Oh yeah, we did mention traveling a little bit. Alright, I'll cover this one a little bit.
yeah. You know, I never really knew Carrie to travel much. Yeah, I guess her cystic fibrosis may have had something to do with that.
Potentially. I mean, it depends on how bad she was when. Like, when I was younger, and it wasn't, like, terrible on me, I traveled to Maine and Massachusetts and stuff like that just fine. Even going to my doctor's appointments to set up my transplant down in New York, I had no problem traveling. That might have just been her thing, or her family just wasn't a traveling group. Once I got too sick, absolutely. Once you're on oxygen, it makes it real hard to travel places.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I remember that we did get to take that 3-day cruise to the Bahamas, and yeah.
That would have been much more difficult if we had bring oxygen along.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all that's relevant to cystic fibrosis in this one. Yeah, anyway, if you haven't watched my other videos, I encourage you to do so. Yeah, I think that should be it for the videos. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You'd never be able to tell if someone had cystic fibrosis just by looking at them, I know that. Well, yeah, that should be all for this video. Hope y'all had got some good out of it, and hope you guys also a few other videos I make in the future.